What's good, LA?
Hey everyone, we are back. We're back with Derke and Boaster and Sideshow for the next few minutes. If you could please remember, the camera is in front of you. We have a beautiful audience online who'd love to see your faces. But take it away, Sideshow.
Oh, it's like press.
Yes, it's like press, except with only me instead of everybody else. But don't worry, you'll get your chance to bother the other players and coaches too at some point, as you'll want to do. Have you been to LA before, either of you?
No.
Nope. Are you enjoying your time? Have you been here taking a look at anything?
We went to Universal Studios.
Yeah.
It's hot.
Yeah, it is quite warm at the moment. Yeah, it's like the warmest part of the year in LA.
What else is there?
Is that it? That's the biggest experience?
I mean, if the life of a gamer is we get to the hotel room, we're packing from the hotel room. So from our window, there's a mountain.
Okay, that's pretty good then.
Oh, there was a police chase right, like close as well.
You'll get that in LA too. Yeah. So I want to ask you to start things off about winning for the second time. Did it feel sweeter being able to be the first team to win that back-to-back?
Yeah, it felt good. I mean, nobody has ever done it before, so it was cool that we did it. And then just a huge achievement for the team.
Yeah, and for me, just winning feels good. So yeah, the back-to-back was nice, but just the idea of actually winning another trophy and not just having lock-in be the one and done was kind of cool as well. So yeah, it was sick.
That is what everybody in Valorant has struggled with. I mean, we've had many teams be able to win a tournament, but we haven't been able to ever have a team that's consistently won over and over again. Everybody's got Fnatic as favorites for this tournament too, because you guys have been just spectacular in the last couple. How reasonable do you think setting up an era of dominance is in Valorant? Do you think the game itself lends towards this kind of thing, or is it more of a struggle perhaps than other esports? What's your feel on it?
Okay.
You can go first.
I think it's slightly more difficult with the you're only up to 13 rounds, and then pistol rounds are quite impactful. So I think, and then also rounds could snowball through ultimates as well. So it's really difficult. I think when it came to like Tokyo, we were just winning pistols again, and we were just kind of able to convert our ultimate rounds as well. So we're going to try that again at Champs, but you know, competition is always close, and it's when you are looking up at the trophies when you'll get the rug swept from under your feet. So you got to stay grounded and stay focused.
I like that.
I mean, from my perspective, yeah, it's hard. The game is new. The teams, everyone wants that trophy, especially the teams that haven't experienced the winning yet. They're like even more hungry. Then we saw a lot of teams with like updated good rosters, good players. So I think it's always getting better and better, the competition. So at the same time, it gets harder to win like multiple events in a row, especially when people put target on your back.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I feel like from the outside, it can be, it can sometimes look easy how good you are and how cleanly you run through a tournament like that. Obviously, it's not simple from the inside of the team. So I wanted to ask what some challenges or hurdles that you've had to overcome to be able to get to this point recently with this squad too, because, you know, it was labeled as a super team right from the beginning. Has it just been smooth sailing the entire time, or have there been difficulties that you've had to work through?
I think even if you were to have a super team, if you're not putting the work in and you're not focusing on like the fundamentals, the protocols, you're going to lose. So it's been, I've been like Coach Minnie and I and SLK, and we've been putting in the same amount of effort as we had it compared to our previous rosters too. And like, yeah, we've got some of the best players, but they're still making silly mistakes because, you know, we get relaxed, or we've won 2 trophies now and it's a slightly different vibe going in. So it's just kind of like, we're going to just make sure that we're focused on improving, and then if a trophy comes, then it's great.
Yeah. Derke, can you tell me about the different vibe? I mean, Boaster's mentioning like a slightly different vibe there. Is it that there's not the same hunger, or is it that you guys feel more confident? What do you think that is?
I think in our team, every player has experienced like very tough losses. So nobody really wants to experience that again.
Right.
Working really hard, like Chronicle experienced before us winning, but he also experienced like losing grand finals in Champs. Leo, like, he always had like, I mean, good runs, but wasn't quite there. Like he lost LCQ twice, I think. And then or went Copenhagen, then lost, and then me, Alpha, and Boaster, of course, had like a rough 2022 season, or me and Boaster, like overall, like 2 years of rough runs. But I mean, we made it now. Everyone's just hungry and everyone works hard because they know what it takes to be at the top.
Boaster, I wanted to ask you about that work ethic that you were talking about. You've said before, like, if you could tell your past self anything, it would be surround yourself with people who are working hard and you'll be in the right spot. And I know that you put in a huge amount of effort. So can you talk to me a little bit about what goes into you being a top level IGL in terms of what you do behind the scenes, not necessarily calling in the game?
It's about balancing in-game and out-of-game stuff. So as an IGL, you're a leader in the game, and that your responsibility is emotions in scrims and like obviously the strategy. And then out of game, it's pretty much the same as like emotions out of scrims and making sure the atmosphere is pretty good. So there's that, which is always kind of a constant struggle, because when I want to win and I want us to show what we're capable of in scrims, I can get a bit emotional at times as well and be like, come on, boys. Like, oh, I get annoyed when we're doing stupid stuff.
Right.
You know, so it's constantly that strive for that extra 1%, that strive for success. And that's kind of what's helping us win, is that we all kind of can feel the energy. I feel like when an IGL is not working as hard anymore, it will seep through to the other players. So I feel like as long as you see your IGL working hard, you have to be a bit of an asshole not to be working the same amount of effort, you know, because we're a team.
Yeah.
That's
Do you find that, Derke? Does Boaster's hard work inspire you to do stuff as well, or do you just take it easy?
Yeah, I mean,
Let him do everything.
That's the first thing I noticed when joining a team like 2 years ago, that Boaster was like really hardworking, especially compared to like my old teammates or like some teammates that I have in the past, like in the full career in esports. So he's been like the one working the hardest, I would say, and usually like watches the hardest, tries the hardest. He also tries to help like his teammates the most, I think.
I've heard that you've been finding lineups on your teammates' resolution on a second monitor to try and set up your teammates for success. I mean, that is like next level.
It's only because Leo has 5-4 or whatever it is. So I send him a lineup. He's like, bro, just send it in my res. So then I got to change it to his res. And then I'm like, okay, what point can he use to line us out? If it's got none, then I'll try and make a new one or something. But yeah, it's tedious. And also, for some reason, when I swap the res, I do a screenshot. It doesn't screenshot properly on his res. Like, it alt tabs me out. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is annoying. But yeah, it's weird, but it is a bit annoying when you have to swap reses all the time to do the screenshots. But, you know, it's less work for him. He just gets on, learns the lineups, and we get going. Like, I don't want to waste time him learning the lineup.
Yeah.
We need server time.
Yeah, that makes sense. I wanted to end just with a short one, which was, what does the team argue the most about? Do you have debates and arguments about how you want to approach a map or what comms to run or anything like that, or does it all just come from the top?
We never argue about comps, not since my triple smokes on bind. Yeah,
I think it's just about positioning. When someone's like, no, this is good.
yeah, I think
People tell, nah, it's not.
I think it's generally like when a mistake is made in VOD review and it's like someone wants to voice why they did it and stuff. And sometimes it's not like, we don't need you to voice it. It's just like, just accept it. This wasn't good. And we move on. So it's just little things like, you know, people defending themselves, which every player does it. Like any VOD review I do, there's not a player that just goes, yes, boss. Everyone's like, yeah, but I was actually thinking of this.
Right.
Like they're trying to justify it.
Would you prefer it if they just said yes, chef, every time?
Not always, because there are some situations that I can't see.
Sure.
And so it's nice to hear their perspective, but it's when it goes back and forth.
Sure.
But to be fair, with our team, we're quite good at not making it last too long. Like we only have a set time for VOD reviewing before people's brains start switching off. So we try and get it done within that time limit. Other than that, the only thing we argue about is like nothing. We just have banter.
Peaceful. I like it.
Yeah. I was trying to think of any drama, but
I'm not trying to dig up the drama. I was just wondering what the team atmosphere is like inside.
Me singing, maybe. Like the boys get annoyed when I start singing. That's it.
Well, thank you both for joining me. I appreciate that. I'll let you both go, and good luck with your games.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. To the grind.